Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program to compare tunes for similarity, and we're working on a particular comparison, which is a sort of the average melody grid that shows for every scale degree how many songs use that scale degree at that position in the song. So first measure, first note, and so on. And we had it working originally as text, and then over the last couple of days, we've turned it into a grid, so more of a Swift UI presentation. I'm hoping we get a better visual out of that. But today, I want to focus on refactoring and probably polishing the look of it. And we had a couple other things we wanted to do as well. So we'll get into it and see how far we get. All right, I haven't run tests yet. Let's do that. And this morning I had an insight. We have this thing called the note count table. I think maybe that thing should become the note tabulator and maybe note counter, but it's really doing the statistical work of finding these things. And we're going to ask it for modes later. And maybe we would ask it to not ask it about which entries are completely empty and stuff like that. So we've got to change that name. The other thing is we have a 3-level array, but we're actually displaying it as a 2D array, two-dimensional array. And so I think we can fold two of those dimensions together and merge those classes. And then finally, the parent notion is the, I think we called them row counts or scale degree counts. We have an array of those held in note count table now, and I think we want to get rid of that array. Whoops. Xcode, you're supposed to be able to open files. Okay. Well, at any rate, hopefully that comes back soon. There we go. There we are. All right. The result we're producing, we use this to count them, and then we produce the table that we care about, which is an array of scale degree counts. I think we should actually pull that into its own class. It's often the case. You have an array of something, you're better off with a separate class or struct or whatever. And I think if we do that, the published goes away. This class becomes more focused on, I'm going to count the stuff, and then I'm going to generate the table that we want the view to use. And that table will hold the degrees, their counts. It'll hold the column headers and all that. And I think we can do a better job of making that pull together. All right. Let's see. So I think first thing we said was AverageTuneReport. Okay. So we originally, we have tests for it. Let's go to the class itself. Okay, we had AverageTuneReport was generating things as strings. Okay, so table contents, the type of this is string, and it just keeps appending stuff to it. And in the end, the whole report is one giant big string that gets displayed. Okay, and we wanted to move away from that into a more visual kind of spreadsheet look rather than just sort of arbitrary tables. So right now, nobody in production is using this, I don't think. If they are, we can drop it. Tests, okay. Report. Okay, yeah, so we generate AverageTuneReport, and then we write output, but the fact is nobody cares about our output. All right. No one, the stage is, okay, the stage does create this instance, but the output is left empty. So we're going to let that go. Metadata, well, I don't know that we need metadata either. Oh, yeah, we need that. That is part of the tune, the stage. But this we don't need. Okay, so let's make sure this runs correctly. And we noticed it also created a note count table. We were just repeating it. There we go. Okay, so we will quantize and do this. There is no output in the view. The view is custom. Interestingly, there are no column headers. So I would like to do some thinking at some point about what happens when you have no input. We'll probably, we'll handle that separately, I think. I think this thing should, if it has no counts, that's fine. And in fact, I don't think we should put any rows in if they don't have any contents. So that's should be easy enough to do. Alrighty, so that went pretty well. Nothing blew up. Let's take this thing out. Average tune report. Well, there's the tests. Just take a quick look and make sure nobody else is using this. Yeah, that all looks like that. It may be that I'm going to keep the contents of this. We should compare the tests because I don't think we've tested some of these combinations, like what happens if there's a rest. Right. Yeah, I don't think we're testing this case. We can test that, we can make sure that the generator, the note count table does its job and records those as rests. And this case, I think we've covered. I'll leave this here for now. I'll comment it out. But the report itself, let's get rid of that. Average tune report. Delete that, move that to trash, run the tests. Excuse me. All right, let's check that in. Okay, so let's look at these. Metadata with no columns. Yeah, I don't think that's interesting from our perspective. Tune with some notes. We've done a test with some notes. This one's the one I'm not sure about. Rests. And I don't see any value in this one. I mean, we've tested things with multiple measures, so the only one is this rest one. Z is a rest. I think Z and X are rests. One of them is a notated rest, and the other is a silent rest. This is a rest character in music, if you're not familiar with it. Yeah, just some little calligraphic squiggle, but that's what we're stuck with. I don't know what's better, but that's what it is. All right, and a Z says this should be a rest, note, note, rest. So we expect 1, 1, 1, 1. So rests on beat 1 and 4. Okay, and if we go here, I really wish there were a keystroke that would pop me over to the test for this thing. But note count table tests. Let's find a rest. Ha. Not there. Okay. Captures counts for 2 tunes. Okay. All right, so I think that captures counts. Increment non-existent cell before, that's not really helpful. Captures counts for 2 tunes. Maybe that's fetch 0 for non-recorded note number. No, that's something else. Let's make sure rests get captured. Okay, I think we can just do Z, G, Z. Well, let's do X. I said they were both valid. And we don't need the second tune. So table and row info. Okay, and I guess we're using that to look it up. So populate the tunes. We want to make sure that, well, let's get rid of this. We want to make sure that row info, symbol to index, note G at 0, 0 should be 1. Sorry. Let's make this dot note dot rest one. We want a rhythm, so I don't think I have a quarter note defined. No. Okay. So rhythm 1 quarter note. Okay. It looks like a lot of parens. Is that right? Okay. 0, 0 should be 1. Note G. And I think we might be able to default most of that. 0, 1 should be 1. Okay. Let's make a couple of helpers here. Rest equal this. And G. I'm okay with a 1-letter variable here. Note G, key of G. Okay. G01. And this one is G. Symbol of G02 should be 1. And this is, I wondered when I need to figure that out. Okay. Table's note count table. I don't know if cancel. I know I've got it here somewhere. I'm looking for the subscript. Oh, it's just an int. Okay. Oh, I guess it's this thing, symbol. Okay, so we got a symbol for the rest, a symbol for that, symbol to index, Well, maybe let's make this, let's look it up and be done with it. Rest row equals row info dot symbol to index 4, all that. And this is similarly row info dot symbol to index of that. And I'm going to call that G row. Yeah, I'm liking that better already. Rest row 0, measure 0, note 3 should be 1. Okay, all right. We got rest, GG rest, create the note table and the row info. I think I'll move this up. All right, populate the table and get the rest row and the G row. Make sure that the first note records the one rest. The second one records the G note. Second beat, starting at 0, records a G note, and the last one records a rest. All right, this test should just pass. Please. Okay, and then where's that report? Report test. Average tune report tests. Okay, so I'm convinced we've covered the critical case there. Okay, everything should pass. And let's commit. All right, so eliminate unneeded test. Maybe it's now unneeded test. I guess add test for rest count to note count table. Okay. All right, so we got rid of that average tune report. This is 2303. Can't believe it's January or 2023. Okay, grid-based report. And then what are we up to next? Refactor note table. Hide public method, non-public methods. Make it produce the table in row headers. Yeah, I think that's really okay. Let's rename this first. Rename note count table to note tabulator. Okay. Note count table. Let's rename this note tabulator. And we'll fix that debug description. Okay, and there should be some tests. right. I'm giving it more of a verb name because I think this class is going to become much more focused on that counting process, and the object we're going to create in a minute here is really the result of that process, this combination there. Okay. Now okay, where's to do? We did the rename. Let's keep that. A couple other things I thought of. One is quantizer can limit number of notes per measure, and it maybe can limit number of notes in song. Okay, so we might only care about the first 16 measures. Maybe I should say it that way. Okay, so let's see, non-public methods. I want to do this process first. So we did note tabulator. What are we merging? Note counts. I think it's going into measure counts. All right, so merge note counts into measure counts. Okay, and I think this is part of this process we've been going through. We started off that people just observe, well, the view that we care about observed this table, and the table accumulated all those statistics and then displayed the results of this table. And then we said, well, I'm sorry, this table, the triple array of counts, it's scale, degree, measure, and note. And we realized, like, Swift UI just doesn't really like displaying this as its own kind of entity. It really wants arrays to be identifiable elements, okay? And so we added the UUID here. And it also just wants the one level, okay? And we'll peel apart the levels. So we broke up this and put the stuff inside into scale degree counts. The other thing this did for us was scale degree now knows its header. Okay, so as we put the rows out, we've got scale degree counts. Well, the header goes out, and then the contents of measure counts. All right, so I think we want to, well, we almost want to fold measure counts into note counts. Basically, this needs to become an array. The fact that this is an array is the rows, and then inside it should be the columns. But let's see. Yeah, this is, let's call this counts, I think. So the count is going to be an array of note counts. So for this scale degree, what are the counts? All right, so let's rename this to counts. It's okay in that string. Okay. Now, measure counts, I think, should just become these. So when you're accumulating, Where did that go? Here we go, build table. Okay, so we're getting the measure counts. We're repopulating this. Scale degree counts. And then we append measure counts. Okay. I think this is just going to be counts. All right, let's, what can we do? This should be an array of counts. Is that right? No, let's see. The top level, oh, I'm a level in. That's why I'm getting myself confused. Maybe we should pull this out first. Maybe that's a better first move. Okay. Note tabulator. And I think we'll pull these into their own file at some point too. All right, so what we're trying to do is turn this into a class. All right, now I think we can, is this worth type aliasing? Make a small step like this. So type alias, the overall, I'm going to work on these names, but let's call it tunes counts. I don't know, that's a little hard to say. Tune counts, maybe better, is array of scale degree counts, right? And this will turn into tune counts. And I think we can say this. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. Right, now I want to change it. That didn't take long. I would like this to become a struct. And the reason I want to make it a struct, well, I want it to be a struct or a class, but I want it to be separate because it's really going to hold both the array and the column headers. Okay, so let's make this a struct. Tune counts, and it's got let counts be of type scale degree counts. I'm using that word over and over, aren't I? Let's call it scale degrees. Maybe it's rows. I don't know. Maybe that would be better. Okay, now we don't need the type alias. Okay. And this should be, it's going to have to, okay, we're going to have to put it in and we'll just make it empty, kind of like it was before. We can probably do better. All right. Table of tune counts equals that. Keep doing that. All right, now things should be breaking. Yeah, there's one. Cannot assign value of type scale degree to build table. Okay, so let's make build table produce our new type. So it should produce tune counts. And then down here, rows is array of scale degree counts. Well, that's exactly what tune counts wants. Rows, rows. Okay, now the callers should be unhappy. Yeah, the view, okay, it wants tune counts to conform to random access collection. Whoa. I think something should still be broken. Yeah, there we go. Stage.table.table. Okay, that is, table is our new type. Let's find it. Okay, table is of tune counts. Okay, so a tune counts. I really don't like this compiler inconsistency. We know table. I think this should be dot rows. Okay, because we added another layer in there. Now, I think this pile up is telling us there's something wrong still. So, all right, let's see if that was enough to smooth it out. Build succeeded. Did the test run? No. Did not succeed. Okay. Table.table. Okay, these have to add a row just like our view did. Now, this will simplify, so I'm not going to sweat it too much for now. Okay, but they're reflecting the real structure. Rows. Okay, let's try tests again. All right, good sign. So note tabulator. Wait, what's note count rows? That name could be better, couldn't it? Okay. We've extracted this struct. All right. Now the other thing we want is the column headers. And that's just array of string. Okay, let's add that in. All right, now anybody who creates this has to create column headers too. And we'll start out empty again. Whoops. Empty. All right, and then this is the real one. Okay, he needs headers. And this is, what do we call it? Column headers, okay. Column headers, all right. So now, column headers, all right. The place we expect this to be used, maybe in tests, but the real place is in that average tune view, sync view. Okay, it's pulling the column headers from the table directly. All right, we want to pull it now from stage.table. Well, maybe it's headers. Stage.table.table.headers, I guess. And I think maybe this column headers might be a better name. Okay. And let's change this. So we want it to get them from table stage.table. What do we call it? Golly, short-term memory here, buddy. Table dot. I guess it's table dot column headers. Yeah. Okay. Too many table dot tables kicking around. All right, but it's pulling from the same place. Stage table, stage table. The column headers are all coming from there. Now the tabulator has this, and there is a test that tests it for empty, and then there's one that checks it for real. Okay, so this should work. I guess the tests don't care. We didn't change anything they care about, but let's make sure it runs. Okay, and we'll get our big file, quantize, and do the average. Okay, and what we can see is we still have 1.1 through 1.6, 2.1 through 2.6, and so on, I think up to 48. Yep. Okay, so those column headers are coming through. And since they're coming through, column headers, okay, the people who use it as public, like the test, we're either going to drop it or make it test the end result, the table. Somebody should have complained. There we go. Column headers is inaccessible. Okay. Do I care about this case? You know, I think I have table.isEmpty. Oh, degree index. Okay, I'm gonna say well, let's do the populate. I guess this is before we call populate. Well, let's go for table.table then. And obviously table.table is kind of annoying, but that should be okay. And then down here, we're making sure the produced table has it. Now these tests both may fail. Neither one's calling populate. The first one should be okay, but the second one probably will fail. Yep. One failure. Yeah. Okay. So, increment non-existent collection and call before incrementing. Why do I care about the column headers then? I don't think I do too much. Results. Okay, we're checking the contents of the table. I think maybe I don't care so much about this. And the real thing is the result here is created. We did count these notes, even though when we started they had nothing in them. So I'm going to drop that. Okay, this should pass. All right, and then yeah, let's keep what we have there for a minute now. Make column headers private. I think I'm losing. Okay, top level class for all counts. I would say we've done that. We have an object of TUNE-counts. Okay. That, I think what we want, I think populate needs to return build table. I think it should just calculate it and return it. So who's calling populate? Average tune stage. Yeah, he has note tabulator. I think he could. Let's, I'm going to try and keep it in small steps. Okay, so this is published public var counts of type. Well, let's get everybody on the same page. The tune counts, really. Tune counts. So we're going to get this variable out. Is tune counts. Okay. I don't know if we have to have it defined first. I think we're going to, right? It should be complaining. Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's make one tune counts. Nothing. And maybe we can define a header for that. But anyway, table equals note tabulator, table.populate. Let's assign counts here. Counts equals table.populate of input tunes. And then this is going to return tune counts. And we'll just return the table. So I'm keeping both methods around for a few minutes here. All right, let's run that. Cannot assign value of type. Wait, what? Populate is unused. Yes, it is. Okay. Where are we getting that information? Well, okay. I think they're okay for now. We're asking the subscripts. I mean, they're really trying to look at, no, they really are trying to look at that object, aren't they? Okay, let's make sure this part is okay with it. So average sync view, wherever the, okay. where was I looking before? Stage. Okay. So stage has counts now, and nobody's referencing that. What I want to do is switch over to use the counts as the thing I care about. And then once I've got that working here, I'll make the test do the same thing. Okay, so he sets, holds it and sets it. Okay, and then the sync view, maybe I could resort these a little. Okay, the sync view, everywhere it's accessing table, especially table.table, stage.table, I want it to reference stage.counts. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's find stage.table. Okay, for each, I think this is just counts, right? Stage.counts. Column header. Okay, so we got rid of table.table. That's progress. And counts rows. Well, all they contain is column headers and rows. So should be the only two places. All right. Test don't care. And then let's find references to table here. Not happening. Okay, so let's see if anybody else references that. Probably not. Okay, we populate it. But we're saying we publish it, but nobody is doing it. They use counts now. I don't know why they're out of date. Counts as table.populate. Okay, so I should be able to take this out and let tabulator equal that and tabulator.populate. Okay, so how do I consume the contents, the input? I create a tabulator and I populate input.tunes from input.tunes. Okay, now that should, well, it should test for sure. We haven't touched any tests, directly tested classes. Okay, it should run. And again, we'll take our no scale and ABC, the big one, and the melody average. I'd kind of like to get rid of that little message too. Okay, and here we go. The fact that it shows any data at all, and they have counts, so we know that this is the true data. Okay. So that says we've successfully fetched things from our new class now. All right. And we've taken it out of, whoops. I don't want a breakpoint. All right. We've taken the field out of here. Okay. Let's commit this. Drop unused field table from average tune stage. Okay, I'm going to take this easy little win. I think if, and this may be a little artificial, but if the metadata contains quantize, then we know quantizer has in fact happened. Okay, if it doesn't, okay, we want to change the message. So let's make this a var. And I think think we're okay. Yeah, we're changing it in response to the metadata changing, which we do monitor. Okay, so self.message equals input.metadata contains quantize, then nothing else. This. All right, let's see how that works. I may need to initialize it to that too. I don't know. Okay. Quantize is recommended. And no message now. Okay. If I take it out, it comes back. Alrighty. Extract top level class. Yes. We shifted the stage to use the tune counts rather than the table. And we made the quantize message only show if quantize are not used. Good. All right. Merge counts. Okay, we're getting there on this. Make note table produce the headers. Store in state in average sync view. Well, it's not really state. It's just stored there. And I think that's kind of a side effect of what we did otherwise. Okay, separate parent class. That's what we've been working on. All right, now we're into this merge. Maybe this. Let's clean up. Note tabulator. I don't know, I'm being generic there, aren't I? Let's see, what do we have to do? I think, well, we want to get rid of the table, the table. Nobody needs this anymore, okay? Because we're returning it directly, and I think everybody who wants it is getting it from the direct return. So let's say drop table. Okay, so I think in fact it doesn't need to be published and it doesn't need to be public. And actually I don't think it needs to exist, but that's okay. Table is inaccessible. There you go. Table.com headers. Okay, now we're getting this. Okay, I think I don't think a note table is a container of state that we want to observe per se. We might need to look at the count table if we're concerned about how it does things, but I think this is not relevant to us anymore because we're not producing it just by the fact that we exist. We're moving away from having this static field on there, so I don't think we care. Where we care is probably we may need tests on the classes. Oops. These classes, although they're data bags, really. They hold whatever you put in there. They don't change it. Yeah, I don't think we care about their ability to contain what they contain. That seems pretty simple. I guess what we care about, and maybe the test should reflect this, is if you do a populate, populate on tunes with nothing, okay, no tunes at all, then table.column headers go in a level should be empty. Okay. Empty tunes have no column headers. List of no tunes has no column headers. I think that's correct. Okay. Populate maybe a lower level or lower down. Okay. Table sub row index. Okay. Now we can, let's make this tabulator. Okay. And we can capture table here is populate, and then instead of tabulator dot table, just table dot rows. Okay. Same thing here. I'm going to do the rename. Table equals. Table rows. Okay. Oh, we still have some populates. Table. This one might be different. Who else is complaining? Okay, that is that what we care? I'm gonna let those go. Let's make sure these all work first. Okay, who's accessing that table now? Anybody? No, I don't think so. Okay, we call table equals build table and return table, but I don't think we care anymore. Nobody's looking at tables, so let's take this out. Well, let's just return this. All right, and I'll just do a manual run. I don't think this could possibly affect that stuff. And I know it sort of means I don't trust my manual runs, and that's sort of true. It's always, I always find it a little tricky when we're talking about making sure notifications occur and all that stuff. But we have headers, we have rows, we have data, so we are good. All right, so drop unused table from note tabulator. Okay, now these last ones, these last three, I think they really want to get the table. We really should look in the table. So let's rename this again. Okay, and let's let the table equal tabulator.populate rows. Okay, so now instead of this, I think we need to go through table. Table dot rows sub rest row, yes. Dot counts gives me measure counts, so measure 0 dot note sub 0. Okay, I'm going to take a small step here. Something's, yeah, I lost a dot count. Okay, so this is table dot rows sub 0 dot counts sub 0 dot note sub 1 dot count. Okay, so we're accessing it more like we do in more like we do in the UI. Okay, and I think we can probably improve these as we go, but okay. Table sub 0 dot count sub 0 dot note sub 2 dot count. And then finally, table sub rest row dot count sub 0 dot note sub 3 dot count. Okay, that should pass. Oh, table dot rows Okay, and I think this also lets us get more specific here. We took row info. We took table.rows sub this dot count sub 0, and the note is what varies. So let rest row. I think we're going to plug that in. Table.rows sub rest row dot count sub 0. So I'm changing the type of that. Its type is like measure counts. Yeah. And this count sub 0 goes to rest row. We'll change it to measures in a minute here. All this row symbol is a little annoying, I will grant you. Okay, but this one is also table sub table dot rows sub this stuff dot note dot counts sub 0. Okay, and so this becomes 0 dot note 1 0 dot note 2. Okay, I think this part is uglier, but this part is easier. Rest row note 0 count as 1, note 1 count as 1, G row note 2 count as 1, rest row note 3 count as 1. Yeah, that's better. Okay, but these are really measure counts. Let's call it rest measure. And maybe G note measure, G measure. I don't think the name is super ideal, but I think it's okay. Oh, now the other thing we can do here is row info is really there so we can get the column header. No, it's really not. No, nothing to do with column header. Okay. It's finding the correct row number given the note. Now let's see what the defaults are on this. G, I think in key 4 is a default. Note name accidental. Yeah, octave 4. Key is C. That's different. Okay, so we can probably skip the octave. Note G. Is it in key? Whoops. Oh, accidental is natural. Okay, no, we want in key. All right. Let's leave off the octave though. The default is correct. Okay, these should pass. And I still have 2 warnings. That was just one of them. Okay, where's the other? All right, so counts. Now this, here the interesting thing is the octave, I guess. The fact that it's picking up lowercase numbers going a different octave than upper. Okay, I suppose I can live with that. Yeah, I guess. Okay, but let's do the tabulator thing again. Tabulator. Let table equals. Now, this is coming from tabulator. This is really coming from, well, I want to do it the other way. Table.rows sub row info dot count sub 0 dot note 0 dot count. Four different octaves. Sorry, 3 different octaves. Rows, all that stuff. Dot count sub 2 dot note sub 3 dot count. And this is the bad part. You see, you're really digging through the layers. Now it was happening before. We just had a three level index, or subscript. Table.rows of this. dot counts of 2 dot note of 3 dot count, and finally table dot rows sub that dot counts of 0 dot note 3 dot count. All that navigation is implicit in the other one. I don't know. I don't think these stand apart. I need to make a difference there. Okay. Count 0. All right, that should be okay. Well, this really is a tabulator question. Okay, so I'm going to just assign it away. We don't really care about the table that gets populated. We care about this. Okay. Okay, so test get table rather than pulling from, then accessing from note tabulator. Okay, now note tabulator, he says he's observable, but nobody's observing anything on him. Okay, so in fact, he's not really observable anymore, which makes sense because it's just being used to calculate the table we care about, and we're creating a constant value there. We assign into it, but we never change it, so it has no point in being observable. Okay. Well, they're calling for 11 inches of snow where I am, and looks like it finally started. About a half inch out there already. Okay, let's see. So most of this stuff should be private. Table, this I think is not being used now. Yep. Okay, so delete unused field. Delete the unused field table. I guess I better put that in quotes. That sounds too confusing. From note tabulator. All right, it is nice when things get simpler. Okay, these two are still out there. I don't know. This is private, I think. Make a file private increment. That's being tested, so it's accessible for that. Is empty. Who's using this? Okay. I'm going to keep it for a while because I think it might be needed to calculate when you don't show empty rows. So let's keep that much, and I think I will rename this field. Okay, I'm not sure if that was What do we do there? Oh, change to private and rename test. Okay. Change method to private. All right, I think, yeah, we've done that. Drop a table. Merge note counts. This, we hid non-public methods. I guess that's not worth mentioning. Okay, refactor note count table. That's pretty well done. All right, so we need to merge note counts into measure counts. So we're showing a table as 2D. It's defined to be 3D. We can get rid of one level and simplify things that way. It's a little funny. Well, it's losing information, frankly. But from the report standpoint, which is what these classes are for, they don't need it. Okay, so the goal of this will be that the measure counts are just going to contain, let's see if I can get these right. Scale degree counts correspond to the rows. I think this should just be an array of counts, and we'll take the measure number out of it. So really, we're going to say the first count, the second count, the third count, the fourth count, the fifth count. The fact that 1 through 4 are in measure 0 and 5 is in measure 1, we don't care. By the time we're displaying it, it's really just the row. They've all been standardized to the same number of measures, and that's just the way it is. Okay, let's take a break. So 3 or 4 minutes. We'll come back and fold out one of our levels, simplify this a little bit, and I think maybe work on the names and then move it off into a separate file somewhere. All right, so see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. So our goal is scale degree counts. Let's see, make sure this is right. So this is the row. It's got, every row has the scale degrees in it. I almost think this should be scale degree counts. This is the counts for a given row. And so it should be note counts, not measure counts. Okay, so this is a bigger change. Okay, now nobody's referencing measure counts here anyway. Okay, yeah. I mean, this class is going to have to change, and the user of the class is going to change once that goes. I should have some syntax errors in my views. Okay, let's do a build just to see. But there should be, no, that's it. Okay. Well, once this starts changing, it's gonna upset people. All right. So the build table, let's see. So measures, we certainly have to run through the measures, but this is really counts. We called counts here. We're just going to accumulate across measures. So I think measures is going to contain note counts. And well, I can say this differently. I think counts is going to be initialized before the first measure. Okay. And when you run through this, we're going to keep appending to counts for the whole row. Okay, so now note count equals, see, this should be complaining. Why are you not complaining? Measure counts equals, okay, that's good. That's complaining. All right, so counts.append, I don't care about measures anymore because nobody counts measures. measures.append doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have an array of counts, and measure counts should be, well, you should be worried about measure counts being mismatched. Scale degree counts. Header. The counts should be counts. I think. Okay. And again, we're going to clean this all up when we get done. We'll come back through. Now, I got to think a view is going to care about this. Okay, here we go. All right. So now count row. Let's get the type of count row. Oh, come on. Well, it's whatever's in rows, right? Which should be note counts. Rows. Where are you? Scale degree counts. Okay, so row sub I is a scale degree count which has accounts. Row sub I, that's this, count row should be a scale degree count. And then count row dot counts and this measure should go away. It should be, well, we call it note here. I don't know if that's quite right. We somehow lost a layer, I think. Okay, so for each count and count rows.counts. All right, we're going to have to look at the names on all these because I think they're just, which one thinks it's a measure and a count and a this and a that is all off kilter. But tests should all pass. Now, okay, yeah, I was going to say some tests should be complaining. Initialized member note count was never used. Sure. All right, now everywhere we okay, row info dot count sub 0 measure 0. Okay. So I don't think we care about the measures 0, right? We just want to know the position. Is note correct? Yeah, rest measure dot count at 0. This loses count 0. We're not counting measures anymore. This is position 0, position 1. Okay, so let's make sure this test is good. Well, let me do that. Okay. Counts 0 dot note, so that should be. This one's going to take some thinking. Okay, so we're looking at count 0, note 0. Well, that's definitely count 0. Okay. Measure 2, this used to be measure, but measure 2, note 3. Well, measure 2 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is note 3. Is that right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So this is count sub 6. And then this is measure 2, note 3. So that's also count sub 6. And measure 0, note 3 is still 3. So let's put the order back. I was always in a funny order. Okay, 0, 3, 6, 6. All right. Count sub, okay, note 0 is just 0. Measure 0, note 0 is 0. Measure 0, note 3 is 3. Measure 1, note 0 is 4. 1, note 0 is also 4. 1, note 3 is 6 again. We did that before. Okay. All right, I think I got them all. No, I did not. Okay. Measure 1, note 2 is 3, 4, 5. Measure 1, note 2 is 5. 1, note 3 is 6. Oh dear. All right, let's start at the back here. Row G, count 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a G. Should be a 1. It's a 2. Wait. Sorry. 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 G's. That should be a G. So I must have grabbed the wrong cell here. Let's take the bottom one first. Oh, too bad I can't show this directly. There must be a way. Okay. 137, 138, 139. All right, let's do that again. Measure 1, note 2, and measure 1, note 3. Measure 1, note 2 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. How could that have been right? Measure 1, note 2. I don't see how. row G in this position should have, this is a 4, position 4. Am I that far off? This, again, this stuff is all 0 based and 1 based, and going back and forth will kill you. Okay. This is measure 1, note 2. Oh, 0, 1, 2. It's the third one, not the second. Okay, so this should be 6. This should be 6. This should be 7. Four, 5, 6. No, I'm still screwing something up. How many times can I do this? Okay. Note 3. Oh, yeah, that is 7. Okay, that is not there. Okay, so measure 1, note 2. Good. All right. The 7, position 7 is empty. This one only has 3 notes in it, so it should be 0. Okay, but measure 6 should have F1, G1. Yes. Okay, now this one, I suspect I did the same thing. Multiple songs to count, and it's the last line of the test, 121. 121. Measure 1, note 3. I think, again, that should be a 7. And then what about you? Okay, counts of 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the F. Note index D, count 6 should be 1. Well, I think they probably wanted 5. Okay, line 66. 66. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, I changed the order too, didn't I? So our 66 is table D4, D5, D4. Okay, it was measure 2, note 3. Note 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3 is the G. What? Measure 2. Oh, not measure 1. Measure 2, note 3 is a D. Why, yes. Measure 2 is, well, that's 4. That's 8, 9, 10, 11. And this is 11. Okay. All right, I think I got them. We'll do another diff before we go away. Good. Okay. 1, 4. Okay, the count 0 goes away. And we're referencing the note number 0, note number 1, note number 2, note number 3. Yes, that one's fine. Count sub 0 dot note sub 0 is just count sub 0. Count 2, note 3. Measure 2, note, where's the D4? Okay, measure 2, note 3. So measure 2 starts at 8, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's the 11 we did. Whoops. It's 11. 2 count 3, and then 0 count 3 should be 3, and that we moved up. 0 count 3. Okay, good. Count 0, note 0 is just count 0. 0, 0 is 0. 0, 3 is 3. 1, 0 is 4. 1, 0 is 4. 1, 3 is 7. Yes. 1, 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 3 is 7. All right. Yeah, the real action is, well, the UI. I guess this is the real thing. Okay, we folded note counts and measure counts together. Alrighty. Good. All right, now let's see about these names. All right, so note tabulator. Oh, let's get rid of this junk. Okay, now scale degree counts. I don't think those are scale degree counts, are they? The index is, oh, it is. The index is the row number of the scale degree. Okay, so this layer, what do you have for each scale degree? You have its counts, okay? And then inside it, I guess you just have note counts. Tune counts have scale degree counts. Scale degrees just have note counts. Okay, so measure counts should be unused. Now, do these names make sense? Tune counts. Has one for each scale degree. I wonder if this should be called scale degree counts. And this one should be note counts. Well, I mean, one note count is definitely an ID with a count. Maybe this is note count, and this other one is note counts. Let's try it that way. Try and rename them in the right order this time. Note count. Okay. And then this one is note counts. And this one is scale degree counts. The table is a list of scale degree. Each row corresponds to a scale degree. I think that makes sense. It's always tricky to name these multidimensional things. All right, but I think one thing we can do is then take this out. I don't think we need foundation anymore. Well, take that back. Okay, so let's take this out. Scale degree counts is the name of the class, and I think we will keep those together. Average tune. What up here? Average tune. And maybe the other order would be better. Kind of want to read it top down. Okay, we need foundation for UUID. Scale degree counts has column headers and rows. Would that be better as degrees? Degree? Scale degree? Well, we'll try this big rename and see how people like it. Okay. And then this header for that scale degree. So the scale degree, each one has a note counts, which has the header and the actual count. I guess it's almost like degree name. I don't know, degree, scale degree name. These are they're really like positions. I don't know what the right word. I don't think there's a musical term that really stands for measure plus note number. But let's call it position names. Gosh, that just makes this seem like it should be scale degree, doesn't it? All right, what would this be then? This is, we had tune counts. I'm going backwards, I know. Tune counts. Well, yeah, let's go back to that. Maybe even all counts. Okay, tune counts has scale degrees. Each one is a scale degree count. Counts. Then I can drop scale degree out of here. Just make that name. And then the counts. And counts are note counts. Okay. Okay, so tune counts for everything. It has position names and scale degrees. Scale degree counts have an ID. And a name and the counts. And the counts are individual numbers. Okay, let's see how these feel. Build failed. What? I think rename didn't work. Counts dot, we call this position name, right? And this we called scale degree. Maybe this should be degrees. Well, let's make sure everything's back to normal. Oh, man. My man, Xcode. You're killing me. Okay. Well, let's rename that. Oops. In here. I think scale degrees is going to be the right name. Okay. Tune table has no member rows. Well, it's called scale degrees. John Reed was lamenting about app code going away just the other day. Known for its good refactoring. Well, that's at least looking a little better. Okay. How are we now? Okay. And let's just run this. I don't think it's going to mess anything up if it got everything compiling. All right. Those all look okay. Let's commit that. Extract and rename the counts structs. Okay, now let's see. Are those acceptable? Let's sort this properly. I don't know why I can't set up a default for this. Tune counts. Okay, so it has scale degrees. Scale degrees have the ID, they have the name of the row, they have the contents of the row, which is a bunch of numbers. Okay. I think that's okay. I mean, it's unfortunate we have to do identifiable on this one, but I don't see a way around it. All right, now the tabulator, does it need import? No. And also, John's convincing me to drop these headers as I go, so we'll do that. Okay, how's the naming look here? Build table. Builds, let's call this make. Okay, produces tune counts. The rows, well, this table, would it be called, how about calling it counts? Okay, now make, we go through, we're going to build scale degree counts. No number, this is from the counts domain. All right. This is rows, is it probably is scale degrees. Okay, scale degrees starts out empty, and we run through the rows. We start a new counts array for each measure, for each note. We update the ID. We append the thing. Measure counts is not the right name. Scale degree counts. Is that may be scale degree? Actually, I think I will inline this. I don't think we have that refactoring. Okay, I'll drop that name completely. Scale degrees dot append the counts, and it's got the name, number, and counts, and all that stuff. Okay, I think that's all right. We have a couple functions that still are kind of public, and I don't know if they're needed to be public or, I mean, mostly they're public because making sure this tabulator has done its job right before you make the new count table, the tune counts table, is complicated enough that we're doing that. And I think I'm okay with that. It's, well, let's see who uses it. Maybe we can at least make it neutral. Only the tests. Okay, let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't have to actually be public, I guess. Okay, and I think I will say public on the init just to be consistent. This, I don't know who references this now. Maybe some tests. Yeah, let's make that. We got a public populate. Okay. Yeah. All right. Assuming this is all good. Okay, so improve names and visibility in Note Tabulator. And then I'm also worried about this sync view. Is the naming in here reasonable? Okay, stage.counts.position names. Yeah, those go across the top. Stage.counts.scale degrees. This is a count row. Yeah. Scale degree row. Let's try that. Okay, so text of the name. That got shorter. Okay. For each count, this is really a count. Okay. Category row.counts. That seems okay. All right. Let's run that. And I do quantize so I can see that the 6 is there and these numbers still look like 12, 1, 4, 1, 10 and all that. Okay. I'm happy. Okay, so improve names in average sync view. Okay, merge note counts and naming in note tabulator and average sync view. Okay, we're knocking some things off today. I think we're coming off much noticeably better. We went from that triple indexed count with a complicated loop around the outside. Then we build that into a separate set of objects that are more amenable to looping in Swift UI. Okay, choose whether to make fixed cells colors, pinned headers, compute the mode. That's kind of a different thing. Most likely tune, only show the first row. Okay, I think those are all good things, and we'll probably do them. But I'm looking at this thing. All right. Let's here. This is really the pipeline view. Okay, so the hamburger shaped thing with all the stages in it. I just want to fix this view. Brian Beecham complained to me the first time he saw it that it was a little confusing because of that, and he was right. I'm just slow to fix it. So the way this is now, and it was even worse when Brian saw it, these stages, well, the inputs you can only select one at a time, and same for the analysis. The transformations, of which we only have one, but really they are include them or not as you choose. They're conceptually checkboxes, and these are conceptually radio buttons. All right, but the formatting of this, This looks grayed out because of the colors I chose, and I think I've lightened this color maybe. It's noticeably hard to tell, but it looks gray, and so it's not obvious you can pick it. So what I want to do is turn the color back to white. I've got the border around it. I'll leave that for the ones that are lit up. But I also want a checkbox in there, and maybe underneath it would work. Let's go for that. So if it's checked, well, maybe I'll use a circle for these and a checkbox for these. But if it's on, it should be checked as well as have a border lit. If it's off, it should be an open box and no border. And similarly for these, except I want circles since they're more like radio buttons. Okay. And I don't know where that neutral color comes from. There's probably a disabled color or something. Let's see our assets. How am I doing that there? Where are you? There you are. Okay, we use contrast, but I feel like we're almost doing light gray. Okay. Let's find the code. The view code, it's probably just the content view. Well, quantize is easy to work with. Okay. There's the quantizer, does the work. Quantizer setting view. Who has is active? There it is active. Oh, it's disabled. Okay. Source.is active. Okay. So right now we have quantize by. Oh, well, let's go see top line. Has the vertical icon. And I think we're going to have to put active in there. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have to put a type. We can get by without it for now, but if it's going to draw the checkbox or the filled in circle, it needs to know what they are. You know, it needs to know whether it needs a circle or checkbox. Now it's just an icon. Well, let's see. And it's just a label with the name and the icon. Well, the name. Okay, maybe this is. Can label have a view? View, where title is a view. Okay, so it is a view. Okay. I imagine it defaults to text. All right. There's an icon only label style. Oh, that's a little different. But these have a text instead of a view here, so. All right. Okay, let's get transform shape. What is that? Color with a rectangle with the foreground color. Okay. I guess, transforms use a rectangle. That shape is the box shape. It's not the icon shape. don't think. Okay. Whoops. Let's go back. Quantizer setting view. It's a stack. Okay, so that is the icon. The top line. Okay, takes the icon name. It's going to have to know is active. All right, let's pass that in. Is active is source.is active. Okay, and then top line. Bar is active of Boolean. Okay. And then there should be a bunch of places that now need a Boolean added. Well, you're behind the times. Top line. Oh, we should act. Okay, we'll do this the small step way, I guess. Is active of Boolean equals true. Okay. Now everybody should at least compile. Okay, and quantizer setting view passes its active. Top line, what's it do with it? Well, it's going to pass it to the icon, right? Okay. Let's give that is active as well. Go over to icon, and it takes bar is active of Boolean. Okay. There may be somebody who's not handing that in. Well, that's not true. Icon. Observable stage. Okay, this is the icon aware that it's active. We could probably fold this in too. Alrighty. Okay, and we'll run. Just verify nothing's looking funny. Yep. I mean, nobody does anything with this flag yet, so let's fix that. Icon is active. Vertical. Okay, so this we need a view in here. Okay, so the view is well, what's the view? The view should be right now it's just name. Let's text of name is the current view in effect. transform to a string protocol. This may not work. Why doesn't it like? Label where title equals text, but this is label where title is the view. Init title goes to title. Well, this view builder, I think that means I get to say label and then just put the two views icon. Vertical icon. Okay. I think system name, icon, image. Where's the system name? A title and name, so it's just an icon from there. So I don't know if I can do the icon. Okay, well, let's try it. Okay, so let's make this be label. And then let's do text of name and icon system name. No. Image system name. Icon name. Well, let's hit some documentation. That's the simplest form. Yes, we don't care about that. Customize label style by modifying a style. We don't care about style. This is more interesting. Oh, I got to say icon separately. Okay. Label, bracket, icon, whatever. Okay. Label, text of name. Icon colon, image of system name, icon name. Run that. We should see a double now. Hopefully a similar looking double. Okay, we'll have to do label style. Okay, let's go ahead and put the label style on there. And run it again. Good. Okay, looks exactly. I think it looks the same. It's a little hard to tell. But I'm going to take this one out. Maybe the question is not the same, but acceptable. It looked like a shade different color or something. We'll see. That looks okay to me. They all reflect it. Okay. Now, vertical icon does not use the isActive flag, so let's take care of that. This is a VStack. We may have to adjust some spacing, but in there is the text, and then also the text I guess it's a verbatim. And then is active. Well, we want a checkbox. Otherwise, a square. All right, and I don't have these memorized, so let's find them here. Box. Well, that may be, there may not be a checkbox. I don't know. Check. That one looks okay. Ballot box. Checkbox, and then ballot. Good. Okay. Now let's run this. Oh, I don't think we're getting our value through. Oh, and I don't want them on there. Really? Okay, why is inactive not, is active is not affecting it? All right, so let's find the caller. Somebody hard-coded that to true while we were going through, right? Icon did. Okay, icon. Wow, icon is quite the vertical icon is true. Why that's in a stack like that? Well, it's stage dot is active, right? Ooh, there we go. These guys are not on until we choose them. Okay. I would say that's okay. The spacing is a little weird, and this one, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of that box there. That's the two places, right? There's top line. I mean, I think there's 5 cases. If you're in a top line, you're part of the hamburger thing. That's this stuff. I don't know why it's top line now. Maybe not a best name. But you have the icon, and then you have the body of the tool centered. And you don't want this active flag at all. You just want the plain old icon. The other one is icon. This is the little icon on the left, and that one definitely we want this on. This, however, stage is active. I just want to make this be the contrast. I don't want the color, the gray. Let's deal with that. Okay. So I think we've got to figure out. Okay. Yeah, much better. The box could be a little bigger. Vertical icon. Let's put a dot scale on that. Scale effect. Scale. I think I can just do that. Maybe 1.5. Okay. Yeah. So I think we got 3 things to do. Well, 2 more things to do. One is get the flag off of here, and the other is tell it whether it's using squares or circles. Okay, and I don't know if one of those is, and maybe I can combine all these. Maybe there's an enum. Let's see. It's like the 5 things are it's state whether we want it at all, okay, which is false on the hamburger and true on the left. If we want it, do we want a radio button or a checkbox? And so there's sort of false and then 4 possibilities here. Checkbox none, we don't even want to show the thing. Okay, so I think we'll deal with that tomorrow. It probably will take us, I don't know, an hour or so. Hopefully not more than an hour and a half. All right, so radio buttons and don't show on the hamburger. Okay, and let's track that in our to-do. Okay, so we eliminate dimming on tool selection, tool selector. We use checkbox for tool selection. Use radio button for mutually exclusive tools, and don't show selection on hamburger. I'll call it pipeline view. That's probably more generic. Okay, and these 2 we did. So grid-based report. This is pipeline view. All right. It's a little awkward as far as if I released it now, I wouldn't like to do it with these there, and they're not selectable here, so I really don't want to. But this isn't terrible. I mean, the fact that I've got squares all the time. So, Keith, wow, nice. It's been a while then. I haven't been on there in a while. We're just wrapping up here. Let's see, I'll give the 1 minute demo. I'm working on comparing tunes, and I'm working with somebody who's kind of into that musicology kind of thing. So we have these tunes, they're in this weird format, ABC. It gives the tune letters and measures and stuff like that. And then we're running a series of reports on them. And I've got statistics is just kind of minor, but the Parsons code gives you the shapes of melodies. The official Parsons code is this DDU, down, up, down, repeat stuff. But I show the shapes, and you can see many of these are similar, but some of them are very different. Let's see. Got some that, this one goes down, 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 down. That's all downs, no ups. So I can tell some things from the Parsons code. And then the melody average is taking a whole set of tunes, and we haven't worked on the presentation too much yet, but this is measure 1, note 1, measure 1, note 2, and so on. I've got 39 versions of Deck the Halls that this musicologist I'm working with gave me, and 12 of them start on the 5th note of the scale. So do, re, mi, fa, sol. And then 10 of them start on the 1st note of the scale, and then the others are all kind of random between them. And so we're eventually going to mark the mode of each column, and I can say, usually this song starts on the 5th note, and from there it usually stays on the 5th, and then goes down to the 3rd, and usually goes down to the 2nd, and then 1516 is very uncommon, all right? And then so we'll take the next measure. Usually it goes down to the 1, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, and if you think of Deck the Halls, it's going down like that. So these two analyses are kind of standard ones in that field, and I know there's a few more. And then we also do this notion of quantizing. We can take the whole tune and say, I only want to see every quarter note, so if it's got lots of 8th notes and all that stuff, my Parsons code, it trims out some of that variation, where if I don't quantize and I leave them in, the shapes tend to be more varied, okay? All going down, I don't know. It definitely shows a difference. So it's been an interesting project for me from that sense. This ABC file format is moderately complicated, so trying to parse that's been fun, and thinking up new tools for this. And I'm hoping after I get this melody average done, I can work with her and find another good tool that will help. So thanks for joining. Next time is tomorrow, 1 to 3:30 Eastern Time, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. And take care, have a good evening, and hope I see you back. You especially, Keith. Take care.